Hello and welcome to RachAquarelle. My winter holiday series project today is going to be just a little bit different from what I usually do. I've mentioned in some of my other videos that I have this basic set of gouache paints by Winsor Newton, but I don't have very much experience using them. The couple of times that I've tried to use them in the past, I was using them all wrong apparently, because I was kind of just using them the same way that I use watercolors. And I guess it doesn't work like that. So I decided to break out these tubes of paint and try to do kind of a different project and something that I really like the look of, which is painting on top of Kraft paper. So this is actually a cardstock weight of Kraft paper. And I really like how, because gouache is pretty opaque, that you almost get this like chalky, nice pastel look especially if you paint on a surface that isn't just white. So obviously Kraft paper has kind of a brown color to it, and you can even use it to paint on black paper, which is another thing that I want to try. So what I learned about gouache is that, first of all, you don't paint with it like watercolor, but you also don't even really treat it like watercolor in any way. So when I first got this, I put it in my little plein air sketching palette and went out and did a sketch and, kind of was meh about the whole gouache thing, but I then just let it kind of sit in my palette. And then a while later, I was like, well, let's give this another try. And so I went to use the gouache in my palette that had been sitting there for a while, thinking that, you just add water to reactivate it just like watercolor. Well, not so much. It does reactivate a little bit, and it also depends on the type of gouache that you have. So if you get I guess it's an acrylic gouache, that will not reactivate at all. What I have is more of just like, I guess, the standard gouache. So it will reactivate somewhat, but it just stays really kind of milky and translucent. And I guess you're just supposed to use it, in a consistency where you've added enough water so that you can apply some nice good lines, make some nice flowing marks. But you actually leave it a lot thicker than you typically are going to be leaving your watercolors. So this here is a little project idea that I would like to propose, and my inspiration for this project is that, if you live somewhere where it actually gets really cold in the winter, there is this tendency for us to start feeling a little bit gloomy about it. Some of us suffer with things like seasonal affective disorder, or, it usually hits me actually after the holidays, because at the beginning of winter, I actually do like winter. And so at the beginning especially, I'm really excited about it. And we've got the holidays coming up. And then afterwards, it gets a little bit more difficult because the cold weather really does slow us down. It makes it just a little bit difficult to do our basic functions in life. And I think that maybe a good idea is to take some time to think about all the things that you actually like about winter. And so that's what I am doing with this project. It's titled, as you can see, My Winter Favorites. And what I did is I took a notebook, which you can see on the left side of the screen, and I just wrote down some of the things that I actually look forward to about winter. Sometimes in the summer it's really hot and, it comes with its own issues, and I start thinking about all the different things that I really appreciate about winter. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm kind of just doing an illustration of all those things. So you can see so far I've got a snowy hill, I've got some nice evergreen trees. I love how they smell. There's a snowman. Me and my sisters used to build snowmen all the time when we were little, and I've built them with my daughter. So that's always nice to see. I love when I'm just driving around town and it's been snowing and I drive by a house and there's a snowman in the yard, so I know that some kids were out enjoying the snow. I'm painting a hoodie because I'm one of those people who loves to wear layers. That's, I think, what I suffer most with in the summertime because I like to wear layers. And in the summertime, it's not that it's impossible to wear layers, but people then start making comments about it. So I like the winter because I get to layer up and just be free to be cozy. And then I've got Christmas lights in there because I love how they look. I'm already admiring all of my neighbors who have Christmas lights up. I'm kind of afraid of ladders, so I don't put Christmas lights up. And yeah, I wish that I could. Candy cane up there in the corner because peppermint is one of my favorite flavors. When I was a little kid, my grandma used to get us peppermint ice cream. And I just recently saw that one of the stores around here had some peppermint ice cream. I didn't get any, but I think that I might if, they still have it next time I go there. Because, yeah, lots of nostalgia there. I have a poinsettia because I think that those are so pretty. Every winter around Christmas time, I usually buy myself a poinsettia. I haven't yet this year, though. And then a nice fuzzy hat just kind of goes along with the wearing layers, some stockings. I wanted to put boots in here, like some big snow boots, because I love wearing snow boots, but I thought I don't want to overdo it on all the foot stuff. So I'm speeding this up because it's not really so much of a tutorial as it is just a project idea, although I will have this template for the font that I used for the My Favorites or My Winter Favorites. That will be available to you for free, and there will be a link in the description below for that. And then I encourage you just to start thinking of all the different things that you actually really appreciate about winter and this time of year and illustrate that. Maybe put it up somewhere to remind you when, those inevitable winter blues start coming into play. And this project, I decided to just go ahead and speed it up because I didn't realize how long I was sitting here doing this, and most of that time was just kind of spent trying to think of like different ways to illustrate all these things. So I ended up sitting and working on this for over 2 hours. So I didn't think that you would want a 2-hour video, and since I'm kind of new to using gouache, I didn't think I had too much advice to give other than what I have already given you, which isn't much. I still kind of struggled with it because it kept getting, like, if I left it alone for just a few minutes, it would get really hard, and it is so hard to reactivate. So I don't know that this is going to become a favorite medium, and this is definitely, obviously, a project that you can just do in traditional watercolors, and it'll be awesome and great. So I encourage you just to use whatever you would prefer to use. I don't know that you'll see a lot more gouache videos from me until I maybe can get a handle on this medium, but I do like how it turned out. I like how it looked, and I think it's a really good idea. And I think this is something that you can sit down with, your family. Maybe you can all think of different things that you like about winter and, maybe all work together on this project or each make your own and put those up because, again, I think it's really important for those of us in the cold states to be reminded that it's just a season and there's obviously pros and cons, but I think sometimes we have to make the effort to remember all the different pros. All right, so a couple other things I've put in here, some snowflakes. I love when it snows. A hot beverage, whether it's coffee or hot cocoa or a latte or whatever. I put another little mint down toward the bottom just because. And then I tried to paint something that looks somewhat like my car carrying a Christmas tree home. And some more snowflakes. What else do we have in here? Oh, I kind of just made these cute little designs in the bottom corners because I didn't want that whole area just to be like snowy or whatever. So that's just me trying to be cute and having an interesting design. And yeah, and there was actually a lot of things on my list that I didn't really have the space for on this composition, or else I just didn't quite know how to make it fit with everything else. The last thing I put in, I decided just to put in a couple of presents. I was trying to avoid like any direct references to like getting presents or whatever, because that's not really what it's about. But I wanted a way to kind of depict that time that you spend with family over the holidays. And I didn't want to paint a whole bunch of people. I have a humongous family. So I decided just to remind myself that it is the season of giving and family, and not just getting presents. So yeah, this is this project idea, and I really encourage you just to take some time to reflect on the little things that we can appreciate about this time of year. And I hope that you have fun with this project. Let me know what you think of this, and I will see you again tomorrow.